All across the country, there were groups of chief executive officers who recognized that what happened in state government was important to them, not just as the heads of big businesses, but as substantial citizens in the state. And the people who were interested in this were not people who said, oh, we got to gut those environmental regulations. They were people who said, this state needs to have a good reputation, it needs to have good public schools, it needs to have a good higher education system, and we, the CEOs of the major companies, have a stake in that. Robert Van Fossen, who was the chief executive of Mutual Benefit Life, who came out of Minnesota. Minnesota had a long tradition of leadership development programs. Scott McVeigh. So this program would not have existed without Scott. He put the Dodge Foundation firmly behind it. He was one of the people that led to the creation of the partnership. And out of the partnership, of course, came Leadership New Jersey.
Lead New Jersey was born out of a tremendous commitment on the part of leaders in New Jersey to find a way of nurturing a mindset of the state's well-being.
Lead New Jersey was amazing because it helped really knit together all of the policy dimensions of almost any problem. It's a great way to connect the policy issues with a venue to resolve those.
It's one of the best executive education programs I've ever encountered. Exciting way to learn.
Whether you're talking about coworkers or you're talking about customers or you're talking about constituents, you become a better leader to understand and to have policies and make change happen.
You have to walk the walk and not only talk the talk. I think that's the most important thing.
It's competence and commitment, hard work, but it really comes from people who start with their heart, people who have a heart, who put their heart in their all, that passion. I mean, that's what people follow.
What L&J really did is expose me to both a spectrum of people that I probably would not have interacted with otherwise. And I met some other smart people who thought differently than I did.
When we tackle each of these big issues facing society, you get a perspective that you didn't have before. It makes all of us better leaders to understand the complexities of failing social services system or challenges in education or healthcare or economic development.
As you work in the world around us, you see that so much of this is interrelated.
The L&J community is a special group of people who have stepped forward as change agents in their corner of the universe. Whether it's in the for-profit or non-profit or governmental sectors, each person that decides to go through the program does so because they see issues in the world around them and they want to know how they can respond.
Public service is phenomenal. I wish for almost every young professional that they can carve some time out of their careers to enter into public service. For me, it was one of the most rewarding career paths I could have chosen because you're part of the solution.
How can we have best-of-breed solutions? Those are the kinds of things that people need to take seriously. There's a temptation to think that other people will handle public problems. They won't. Those require much more than just elected officials. It requires citizens to hold elected officials accountable, but even more so, participate by bringing their own talents and skills to that process of decision-making and implementation.
Lead New Jersey, it is a spectacular opportunity to connect really, really meaningfully with others from very different sectors. And the experience to actually simulate the basic economic and class systems that are at play, at the end of the day, it's about relationships. And if you can help leaders and individuals form meaningful relationships very quickly, then you can actually gain traction in beginning to solve and better understand issues that seem overwhelming and complex.
I think it's probably the single strongest glue in the program is the experience that people have going through SimSci. And if two people from different classes meet, almost invariably they break the ice by saying, "What color were you?"
I had no real appreciation for environmental concerns. And I remember Tom O'Neill took us to the Pinelands. I saw that pristine water. It was a very peaceful, sacred space. And I remember saying to myself, well, you know, this really should be preserved.
And the United States has many ways of harnessing natural resources like solar, wind, biomass. We need to think about innovation, and we need to come up with policies that really make a big difference in everybody's life.
Sitting in Trenton State Prison and having lunch with 3 convicted murderers serving life sentences, and hearing how honest they were to talk to about their life, what happened.
Whether it's drug reform, the war on drugs that has failed us, what are we investing in? And if it's to invest in prison construction or prison jobs, that doesn't quite align with our values as a society. We need to change that behavior and invest in things that actually make the planet well and make communities places where people can live and thrive again.
LEAD New Jersey is a huge supporter of networking and collaboration. I mean, just by looking at the diversity and variety of presenters and speakers and the fellows within the program itself.
I have leveraged the contacts and L&J fellows over the years many, many, many times.
I contact LEAD New Jersey alum all the time whenever there's an issue in New Jersey that I'm trying to address, because they're everywhere.
The program has a kind of jujitsu effect. It is able to throw the leadership shadow much further.
LEAD New Jersey is essential to the well-being of the state. There are very, very few organizations that are focused on the longevity of New Jersey, decision-making over time. How do we prepare for the future?
Looking at the future, I am an eternal optimist. I know we have big challenges in New Jersey, but at the same time, I see lots of promise, and I'm convinced that our future is very bright.
Passing the baton and lighting a fire on those people who will continue the fight long after I'm gone.
This work is worth doing because it makes a difference in people's lives. So many people in 30 years have gone through this program. It's the network of people who are doing the hard work in New Jersey to make it a better place.